possibly more disrespect from the Baltimore Ravens. You tell me. The Ravens considered taking Will Levis in the first round if Lamar Jackson didn't sign before draft night. I'll say that again. The Baltimore Ravens were considering taking Will Levis in the first round if Lamar Jackson didn't sign before draft night. Notice how Lamar Jackson signs on draft night. Notice how Lamar Jackson's contract was bigger than Jalen Hurts. Notice how it happened hours before the first round, the kickoff, essentially, of the 2023 NFL draft. And we've had all this season. They suppressed his trade, disrespectful offers, a lot of he said, she said, like Lamar Jackson said. Lamar's requesting the trade. They apparently make the fully guaranteed offer over 3 years. Lamar turns it down. It feels like they mishandled him. I mean, there were a lot of questions of Lamar really being a Raven again. Recent press conference. Shout out to your hair, by the way, Lamar. You definitely got the locks, bro. I'd love for you to share some if you'd like. He said, man, I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to be anywhere else. I wasn't interested in anyone else's clients. I wasn't interested in talking to agents. I wasn't interested in other teams. I wanted to be here as a Baltimore Raven. But I guess I understand that the Ravens have to cover their asses. It is a business. They got to do what they got to do because next year, if Lamar Jackson wasn't going to be your starting quarterback, okay, that's fine. You got to go get somebody else. Maybe not fine in terms of the fans and in terms of what people want to see in the league and with the Ravens, but if he wasn't there, he wasn't going to be there. So the Ravens were, again, truly considering taking Will Levis, who was a first-round slip in the NFL draft, second overall pick on the second day by the Tennessee Titans. I think the 33rd overall pick. But would have Will Levis even been a fit in this offense? I don't believe so. I don't. And my question is, the Ravens drafted later, and I want to check my mock here real quick because I want to be accurate about where the Ravens actually were going in this draft. The Ravens drafted, where are you at? 22nd. So my question is, if you were going to draft 22nd and Will Levis was being considered there, you had quarterback interest on your radar, right? So if there was quarterback interest on your radar, then what the hell were the Ravens thinking about taking Will Levis possibly in the first round? Was there no option for Lamar Jackson to be used as collateral? I know he didn't want to go anywhere else, but he had the non-exclusive tag. 2 first-round picks come up. You could do something with that. Move up to the top of the draft. I don't know. Maybe try to steal the show. And I know y'all call me crazy, man. That never would have happened. They never would have had the capital. Tell me that you called the San Francisco trade up for Trey Lance when they took him. Tell me you called the Bears giving up as much as they did when they traded and went up to number 1 and took Bryce Young. Tell me you called the trade package for Tyreek Hill. Tell me you called the trade package for Matthew Stafford. These packages are crazy. They will literally pull picks and players and compensation out of their hat. Literally, shout out to GMs and whoever can pull it in the front office to make it happen to go and get these guys. They could have potentially moved up and gotten someone much, much, much better than Will Levis. I don't think Will Levis would have been a fit at all. He didn't have a fantastic college career. He didn't have a good last season. I wasn't a fan of his play style. Very lazy, very, very floating on his throws. I didn't think he saw the field extremely well. Being a product of Kentucky, SEC quarterbacks, it's a little shaky there. It can be a little shaky. And I'm not doubting on SEC quarterbacks, but just for showing perspective of how they play out in recent memory when they go to the league and quarterbacks that are in the league now. So just to really think if this was a possibility and the Ravens would have taken Will Levis and boom, he's their starter, right? Week 1. How different does that Ravens offense look? Does Will Levis start? Is Tyler Huntley going to be the starter? I mean, there were just so many questions rolling around here, but I truly couldn't believe that Will Levis was possibly someone that the Ravens were looking into. And again, I get it. You got to cover your ass. So Lamar's not going to sign. We really didn't know. As more and more went on, I didn't believe Lamar Jackson was going to be a Raven. I didn't. I saw the money he turned down. He said he's not interested in an agent. We heard all the stories. The trade rumor gets suppressed. I mean, there was a lot happening with the Lamar Jackson trade. I think it would have been an absolute fail if the Ravens would have taken Will Levis in this draft. I think it would have been an absolute botch if they would have taken him in this draft in the first round. He's not a first-round player. I don't believe he's even a second or third-round talent quarterback. think he'd be a day 3 prospect. That's what he was in my book. Wasn't a major fan again of what Will Levis was bringing to the table. Ravens fans, y'all let me know though. How would you have felt if the Ravens would have taken Will Levis in the first round if Lamar didn't sign before the NFL draft? How different would that offense have looked? I don't think it would have been explosive at all. I could argue it would have looked better with Tyler Huntley than it would have with Will Levis. And maybe they were going to use Levis in a trade package. Maybe they were going to use Levis, and I don't know. I really don't. I have no conclusion. I have no explanation for why Will Levis of all quarterbacks would have been the one taken in the first round by the Baltimore Ravens.